Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Vonte. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Double Agent 73 from 1974. Now, I'm sitting there going, okay, well, this title, the title sounds generic. We'll see what it is. Assuming it was just like a cheap James Bond ripoff. It is cheap, but this is one of two, or at least I forget how many films, someone named Doris Wishman directed. And she would work with this star called Chesty Morgan. And Chesty Morgan was known for having boobies, gazangas, watermelons, tatas, titis, totos, yippee that were 73 inches. A 73-inch bust. Dual basketballs. And that is really what this film is about. And that's the only reason this film exists. Because it's 1974, of course, way before the internet and all that stuff, where you get your boobies and much, much more on the click of a button. Unless you live in Texas and other states where they try to get rid of that. But there's always ways around that too. Wink, wink. But you didn't have that. I'm not even sure how common VHS tapes were. Probably not that much in 1974. So the only way to enjoy your pleasure is in a theater. And if you don't want to see a technical triple X, and you want to see, quote, a more legitimate film, well, you would go see this film. Especially into the big tally-hos, the big bazookas. And you can watch this and you'll see a bit of that. This scene, this scene, this scene. And there's nothing else to the movie except a very, very boring, poorly made secret agent movie. Because Chesty Morgan, I'm assuming they dubbed her. Assuming? Really? Is that obvious? It's obvious, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know why I'm trying to give a benefit of the doubt for this movie. But it's, yeah, clearly dubbed. She was in another film called Deadly Weapons, which also had Doris Wishman directing that one. And then, yeah, that's what this woman was, a stripper, and then she had these big jugs, and so this director got Chesty Morgan these movies. I think nowadays she's retired, because she was an actress. And honestly, for me, that stuff is not titillating to me, pun intended. If something is too big, that is not a turn on for me. If it's turn on for you, that's cool, but it's not a turn on for me. If your cans are bigger than my head, no, that doesn't do anything for me. Because even if I think about it, I think if I get hit, I suffocate or I die. It's not a turn on for me. Maybe it's for other people, but I like it rather, normal sized. Maybe a little bit smaller if it needs to be. But again, when it's bigger than my head, not for me. Now the actual plot is some guy who's also an agent. He's supposed to get this film. He goes to this place, and the director decided to have like a lot of foot shots. So like he's walking slowly, you see his feet, and he grabs the film, he's walking out slowly, you see his feet, then you see another bad guy, see his feet, and the other feet, and then the other feet. I mean, there's more foot shots than a Tarantino film. Until ultimately, there's a bit of a fight, if you want to call it a fight. There's a henchman with this big mark on his face that I guess supposed to be a scar, but looks like a big burn mark or a birthmark, whatever the case. So after this chase, the car hits this agent. I say, but hit as in he stands there, and the camera kind of, same thing with this. A car's coming at me. Ah! That's exactly how it is. Only I did it much faster. I should have done it slower. And one thing leads to another, and the guy's body is dumped, and some random guy finds him. and the agent says a few words before he dies. But thankfully he's not alone, because he doesn't just have that guy, just everybody behind him. As the guy's leaning over, and leans back, there is a big shadow on the guy's back, which is the cameraman. It is the cameraman, so at least this guy's not alone. There's two eyewitnesses to this. One just happens to be not part of the film. So then we cut to Chesty Morgan, who is this agent called in to get the people that killed that agent and also stop this heroin ring. So they're going to install a camera in her Himalayas so that when she has the surgery, there's only a little bandage, and then you take it off, there's no scars. And then when she takes a picture, all she has to do is do this. Take her two microphones, lift them up, just do this, it takes a picture. Click, click. And when we first see her, for some reason, there's this little dog, and she just starts throwing grass at the dog, and I don't know why. Why is she throwing grass at this dog? Leave the dog alone. It's this little dog, almost like a little bit bigger than this hand. Just a little dog. Just leave the dog alone. Just acting like a bitch. Why? And many times she'll just take off her shirt to see, the two megaphones, the two bookcases, right for the people to see, and walk towards the camera. And then it's just a series of her going from A to B to C and killing the people she needs to kill. This nurse tries to drug her. She realizes this pill she shouldn't take, strangles the nurse, as in takes the thing, is about this far away from her neck, but is able to strangle her, and then lift her titty to take the pity, the picture. There's another guy who's like, look who's here, and he just, out of the blue, slow motion, and almost as if it's trying to be a horror film with how it's trying to be so intense with the sound design and slow-mo. And literally Chesty hits him with the boob. It's still all in slow motion. Her other T. Like a horror film. And then there's a bit where there's a car chase, and not only does it speed up the camera from the outside, it speeds up the camera from the inside. So yeah, in some of these cheaper films, they'll have the cars be going 10, 50 miles per hour, but they'll speed up the film, so it seems like it's going rapid fire. They speed up the inside, so the guy's driving like it's Benny Hill, steering the wheel. I'm like, why did it have to be inside sped up? It didn't need to be sped up on the inside. You have the guy... One leads to another. The guy catches up to the girl, takes him somewhere. I guess is sporty enough to let her get outside of the car before he shoots her. But thankfully it's enough time for her to get her lipstick and then throw it down, and I guess it's a grenade, and it blows up the car. Then randomly Chesty has a friend who visits. She's literally mentioned. We see one scene where they, hey, hi, glad you got into town. You stay here for a while. The next time we see that character, a hitman goes in and they think that's Chesty, but they kill her friend in the shower. You know how they say, oh, this person just brought in to be part of the body count? That's literally what happened here. There's no other scenes with the character in, as that I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I remember. And then Chesty's reaction when she sees her friend dead on the shower is almost a slight migraine. I mean, there's a lot of reactions you have to find your friend dead in the shower. Or is it meant to be you dead in the shower? Kind of this, and then It's literally the reaction. I've seen Tylenol commercials where the person elicits more any kind of reaction than what I saw here. And then I guess she finds the guy who did that, seduces him, has his little thing that shoots out the smoke that kind of affects him, drugs him. Well, I mean, that's weird. Okay, there's one guy that she does where, again, that smoke thing, he gets wanty. And anytime someone gets woozy, it's the same shot of the camera centered on her chest going like this. I mean, two times, two people were disassociated for different reasons. It's the same bit of business. Because then, that's the only thing they're selling you. I mean, if they literally just had her do a strip show for an hour, it might as well have been that. People pay, they get what they want. 22 studioos, they can leave and get the hell out of there. Let alone the story. But not only that, when the guy's on the ground, she takes ice and puts the ice in the guy's mouth, and I guess the ice chokes him to death. Now, granted, I'm thinking with ice, can you just chew on the ice? Crunch on the ice? But I don't know, I guess he's so drugged he can't do it. Which then you would think, well, anything could. You just hold his mouth shut, but hey, just keep putting ice in his mouth until he's done. Just like there's another guy who's with this girl, and Chesty ties up the girl, puts some stuff on her nipples and her 73-inch water horses, and goes out, and the guy's so out of it, oh hey, here's another lady, starts licking it, and when he licks it, then I guess it's poison, and then he's down for the count. There's a point where she gets caught and she's tied up and she has a ring, and the ring just like kind of sparks, and when it sparks, it burns through the ropes. And like some of the direction, I mean, all the direction in this is really bad. But there's a bit where I'm trying to think when this is. This is after she escapes, and she's looking for the bad guy, and the camera will like go to her shoe, then go to her, and then the camera will pull back, and then it'll go to somewhere else, then go to her again, then pull back again, then go here, and then pull back again until then the guy comes out and tries to attack her. I'm thinking, they don't know what they're doing. So ultimately, she gets this piece of glass, gets it to the guy's face, where literally just kind of this, and the guy's like, ah. She gets back, she's bloodied up, they get the camera out of her, they're watching the picture she took, with a lot of bad dubbing. Oh, throughout the film, there was this other guy with this big wannabe Tom Selleck mustache who was kind of her lover. And somehow, some point, she took a picture of him where all of a sudden now he has this marking on his ear. So when the agent earlier in the film said the star, and it's this guy named Toppler, you think it's the guy with the big star. Right, you think the agent could have said ear, star, ear, Toppler. You think that would have helped more, but I guess not. And somehow she got a shot of his ear. When that happened and how that happened, I don't know. Especially with the camera's here, but it's, you think the camera's here, but the footage is here. But if the camera's here, how is the footage as if it's from her eyes, but it's from her other eyes. I don't know, man. But he's got this X star on his ear. It's Toppler. She goes to see him. He goes, Jane, no. And then she just shoots him. Jane, no. And then pretty much everything's fine, and then she's going to be on a new assignment. Now, the whole heroin ring is kind of forgotten. I mean, maybe she got the drug some point, sometime, but it felt more of just she's just going from place to place to get revenge on this agent. Why don't you just have that be the plot? I don't know even why they bring up the whole heroin thing, because really nothing comes of that. But I mean, the story, the direction, the acting or non-acting, the terrible dub, the complete utter infractions of mistakes, like you see shadows of cameramen among other stuff, shots that you wonder why the hell did they do that shot, or why are they doing this. I mean, if you're into bad movies, maybe you'll get a kick out of this, but I think people will be bored. Once you see Chesty once, you've seen all of her, and again, that type of bid bananas, or bonanzas, I should say, is not really my cup of tea. Or in this case, is a couple double D cups of tea. It's just not for me. The double, almost said the double D Avenger. The double Agent 73. I don't know what else to say, man. Guess you watch a trailer, it'll tell you what the movie is. We'll see you guys later. It sucks. Later.